What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living in Accra, Ghana. And if you want to know why somebody would move from the US to stay in Gambia and in Ghana and want to know the difference between the Gambia and Ghana, then this is the video for you. All right. We are live. We're live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook, and we are live on YouTube. And today I do have a special guest. But before I get to my special guest, I want to make sure you guys can all hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Give me a thumbs up on Instagram. Give me a thumbs up on Facebook so I know you can hear me. Yes, and by the way, if you're watching on Instagram Live, I just pinned a link. No, I didn't. Let me try it again. I'm going to pin a link for you guys on Instagram Live. If you want to see our guest and engage in the conversation a little bit better, then click on the pinned link there to go straight to the live. I sent you a link to the live, so definitely check that out. Can you guys hear me on Instagram? Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Give me a thumbs up so I know that you can hear me. I'm waiting to hear from you guys so we can move forward. Just let me know and we'll get started. And then I'll do some housekeeping first and then we'll bring our guest on. So there's a few people on. Okay. Miss Elaine 121 says thumbs up. Can hear you loud and clear. Great. That's awesome. Good to hear. And then can you guys hear me on Instagram? Lenora said she made it. Shout out to Lenora. Lenora made it. You made it, and you made it on time. Okay, and DeepWeb09 says they can hear me on Instagram. Great. By the way, again, to the Instagram folks, if you want to join the live and see who the guest is, you definitely want to go over to the YouTube live link that's pinned right there. What is it? Latza Charista. I can't go live with you on Instagram this week, but we can definitely try next week. I'm actually going to be having another guest on the YouTube live. So you can join there though if you want to watch. All right, cool. Looks like everybody can hear me, so we can get started here. So only one is here. Shout out to you. All right, cool. So really quickly, today we're going to talk about why anybody would move from the US, specifically the Midwest and the West Coast, to the Gambia and Ghana and the differences between the two. So we'll get into all of that with our guest today. But before we do, a couple of quick housekeeping items. This week, obviously, we're live today on Mondays. For those of you who don't know, I go live every Monday. Sometimes I interview people. Sometimes I just talk about what's happening in the world that week or what's happening in my life. The last few lives that I've done have been about the flood that happened in Sierra Leone. That was really tragic, and nothing's really been done since. We did another live about the brutal killing of 21 protesters in Sierra Leone, and 6 police officers also lost their lives in that incident. And then I've also done other lives about the Ghana CD and losing its value and other things like that, real estate and all of that recently. I also then do a weekly vlog, and I got 2 of them coming out this week. One that'll be out on Wednesday. I just uploaded it to YouTube, so it'll be out on Wednesday, and then I have another one coming out on Saturday. And so if you want to follow my life here in Ghana, building my house in Sierra Leone, all of that is going to be up on this channel. So for those of you who are new, that's what the channel is about on YouTube. Again, if you're on Instagram, many of you aren't familiar with me as much on YouTube, so definitely click that link in that pinned link there so you can go to the live and then subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right. Now, as part of living here, I do meet people who have decided to move here. And some of you are actually subscribers. And one of which, who I want to introduce you all to today, her name is Aya, aka Flower Child. And she had been pretty active in the YouTube lives before. If you've been on the lives, then you'll know she's been in the lives in the past. She is here, but I think she's having some technical difficulties. So before I bring her on, I'm going to kill some more time and talk about some other things. She's having some technical difficulties right now. Um, so I'll bring her on in just a moment. I'll bring her on in just a moment. She's just letting me know she's having some technical difficulties. So while I do that, it looks like she might be back. So let me try bringing her on right now and see if you guys can hear her. So let's try it again. Aya, are you there?
Hi. I hope this is working. Oh
Yes,
God.
yes. Well,
Can you
you're
hear me?
loud and clear. We can hear you and we can see you. This freezes
Oh,
every
yes.
couple of seconds, but we can hear you though.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So welcome to the live. So really quickly, I think for those who are maybe not so familiar with you, you've been on the live before. You've been very engaging in the past on the lives as Flower Child, of course. But Aya, do you want to give a little bit of an introduction of who you are and where you are located currently?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Joe. So I am Aya. Nice to meet everyone. And I would say, don't hate me, Joe, but I'm a Chicagoan until Chicago ends. Those are like Kanye West lyrics. So that's who I am. That's my intro.
Okay, good. Cool. And you're in Ghana at the moment, right?
Yes, I'm currently in Ghana. I've been here for a little over a month now.
Okay, cool. And we're going to get into all of that in a second because I definitely going to have some questions for you as to what your experience has been like in Ghana versus the Gambia and how you got here, all of that. We're going to get to all of that. But first, I think maybe we should just start with the basics, right? So everybody gets a chance to know who you are a little bit. You did mention you
Okay.
are Chicagoan till Chicago ends. Is that what you said? Shout out to
That's
Kanye.
exactly what I said.
Okay, so Lenora says she has some friends from Chi-Town. So shout out to
Hey,
the
okay, Chicago.
Chicago seems to be making frequent appearances on this channel. Okay, cool. So you're from Chicago. Um, so can you take me to your journey of how you went from Chicago to the West Coast to how did you decide that you were gonna maybe not move, but at least make your way to the continent of Africa?
Okay, this is a long journey, but
Yeah.
so I grew up in Chicago. I moved to LA, so that was the last place that I stayed in America. So I went to LA specifically to work in like a specific profession. So I went to school or college rather in California. And so, yeah, I've been working remotely for a few years now, based in LA. But after like 2 years of being in the house and just being isolated, I was like, okay, no, I'm not doing this anymore. So I was in Puerto Rico, a girls' trip, and it just happened. I was like, no, I need to travel more. I need to leave. So when I got back, I packed all of my things. But earlier this year in January, I told my family that I was moving to Africa. Like, whether they believe me or not, I let them know.
Mhm.
But the year prior, so 2021, I had been watching different I guess like YouTubers and seeing what their journey and their experiences were like. So that was when I kind of knew that it was possible. Like I can do this.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice. Was
Hopefully
I
that
one of them?
answered your question. Yes, of course I was watching you.
What was it helpful?
It
I
helped,
always
right?
wonder
And
that.
also
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, finish what you were saying.
it helped, right, to be in contact and like some of the things that you mentioned, like ECOWAS. I didn't know about that. I learned that from being on your channel. And also, I did ancestry, African ancestry specifically. And so I found out that I have Timne, so on my mother's side, my maternal side. So yeah, so I've learned a lot, honestly, being active on your channel. So thank you.
Nice. I love that. I
And
love
thank
that.
all of you as well, because you guys have been very resourceful. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this chat I would say I've now that I have a YouTube channel, I spend some time watching other people's YouTubes and people's lives, and they tend to be really toxic out there. It gets a little crazy on these YouTube lives. And what I love about the subscribers to the Authentic African channel is that everybody wants to help each other and be a resource to one another, right? It's always like positive, mostly always positive vibes, and like really people assisting one another to figure out what they need to do to make this thing happen. So I'm happy to hear that it had an impact on you as well, because these guys are great. Okay, cool. So you decided you moved in January, you said, of 2022, right? Okay, we lost Aya for a second. She'll be back in a moment. But yeah, so I really love to hear how this the Authentic African channel has really helped people to make the decision. That's really why I started this channel, right? Like I started the channel because I wanted to help people figure out what they wanted to do, right? It's not just to demonstrate what it might be like to live here, but it also helps you decide if this is really what you want to do, right? When I talk about my experience, I talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? I want you to understand the full experience, because what I've also seen is a ton of people make the move and quit basically and leave because they thought it was going to be something it wasn't. Um, and for me, I think that that's really why I want to make sure I'm fully expressive about my full experience. I'm going to bring Aya back on. Okay, so you're back and you're clear. Cool. Um, so I was asking you, Aya, what you moved in January of this year, right? Am I right about that? Is that what you said?
So I decided in January,
Okay.
well, I let my family know, not necessarily decided, but I let them know that it was a thing and it's going to happen. So
Okay.
I officially, I feel like the date was like June 24th. So I went to London for a day, and then, well, I had a layover rather in London. And then I was in the Gambia.
And shout out to Ghana Wi-Fi. So Aya and I are both using the same Wi-Fi network, but where I am, it's perfect. Well, it's not perfectly clear, but it's clear enough. Where she is, in the area of town that she is, tends to have some challenges. So you just gotta have to bear with us sometimes. This is the bad and the ugly part, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes the Wi-Fi is just has some issues. So I'm gonna bring her back. I'm gonna bring her back on. She's back, and she's dealing with the frustrating internet challenges being here in Ghana. She keeps freezing. I keep sounding like a robot to her. But you're back, right? You can hear us, and I think you can
Yeah,
hear
I
us.
can actually hear you. So I think the last thing that I was saying is that so I landed in London, and then from there I was in the Gambia. And honestly, it was a very surreal experience just being on the continent. Like I can't even explain it to you. To be honest, the first like 24, 72 hours, just it was amazing, honestly.
Nice. And before we get into your experience in the Gambia, because I do want to talk a little bit more about that, how did you decide on going to the Gambia when you were making your decision to like your first stop when you made the decision to move to Africa in the first place?
Yeah. So it definitely helped that I heard that they don't kick you out after 90 days. So I was like, okay, just in case I want to stay, I want there to be a possibility that, I can stay without having to go elsewhere and come back. Because I've learned or heard stories of expats having to leave their country every 90 days or so. So when I heard that it was possible that I could possibly stay longer, I was like, okay, let's at least start there. But also, I believe I've seen like different YouTubers as well traveling in the Gambia, and them having great experiences. So it was kind of like a no brainer. I was like, okay, I can do this. Let's do it.
Okay, nice, nice. And so we'll get into that in a second. There's some questions from a couple folks, so let me bring those up. So Deep Web says, "Hi, this is my first time on your channel. I would like to know what the move is all about." Oh man, if you want to know about my move, maybe this live isn't maybe the place for it, but there is plenty of content on why I moved. But like just to kind of tie it all up in a bow, since you are brand new, really quickly, my family's from Sierra Leone, West Africa. Both my parents were born and raised there. I am building a house in Sierra Leone. I have my dual citizenship in Sierra Leone. I have a business there. And so I have ties and roots to Sierra Leone, and I've been coming back and forth for 6 years. And I was tired of living life the way I was living in the United States. And it's also much easier to build a house when you're closer. I'm only 3.5 hour flight versus a 10-hour flight from the States. And so there were just a number of different reasons that culminated in me deciding to make the move in 2020. So at the end of 2020, I moved to Ghana, but I do go back and forth between Ghana and Sierra Leone. And my new job has me going to the States once every 3 months. So that's my story. I'm gonna keep it there because this today is an interview with Aya, not really about me. But if you want to know more about why I moved here, there's so many videos on the channel. Just check out the channel. Just like if you look at some of the earlier videos that I did on the channel, I talk all about it. But there's plenty of content to consume that it gives you all the different reasons why I made the move. Shout out to Kwame, who is in Sierra Leone or about to go to Sierra Leone, a Ghanaian going to Sierra Leone. So I just see him on Instagram Live. So I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. Okay. And Miss Elaine says, I definitely want to move. You definitely should. At least come visit first, though. Come visit first. Let me ask that actually. So, Aya, had you ever been to the continent before you moved, or you just up and moved?
No, no. And that's another thing. Like, I don't really listen to people. When my mother told me you should, visit first, friends were telling me you should visit first. And I was like, I don't care what you guys are saying. I'm going to love it. My experience is going to be great. So I pretty much created my reality. So, no, I had never visited the continent. I had never even visited Europe. So, yeah.
Right. But you did have a full-time source of income, and you continue to have one even though you're here, right? So that's also a main factor in being able to make that move, right? I mean, I would imagine not having that would probably be a little bit different, right? Yeah, fair. Okay,
that's
I did want to say
true.
that because some people might be like, "Oh, she just moved," and like, but you also got to make sure you're making money here too, right? Like, you can't just move without having a source of income. I would not recommend that for anyone. But if you got a source of income, then it's like moving to any other city.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I totally agree. Yeah.
So Disco Dan is in the building. Dan Diablo. You've been living up to your name. I read your comments about my interview with Maya King. Dan, Disco Dan, living up to that name. We're gonna move on from that, but shout out to Disco Dan for coming back. It's been a while, but good to see you back and engaged. Only one. I didn't know this. She said your videos helped me navigate around Ghana for 2 months. Thank you so much, Joe. By the way, I've been traveling around Africa for 14 months. Thanks again. Wow. I love to hear that. I'm so happy to know that we are helpful. We're helping people. The content I do is based on what you guys say you want to hear. And so I always do things based on that. So I'm glad to hear that it is helpful. This is why I do it. Lenora says, at Aya, how did you find the place to live?
That's a really good question. What has been helpful or what has worked for me is Airbnb.
Shout out to Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Okay, cool. So, and we'll get back into that a little bit. But there's some more questions or some more comments. So Deep Web says, well, thanks for the bio. I've been on the continent all my life, born and bred in Namibia. Beautiful place to be. Wouldn't wish for another. Nice. I haven't been yet. It's on the list of places to go. Yeah. So at some point, you might catch me out there. Okay, cool. So let's get into some more of these questions because we're already about 20 minutes in, and I've only asked you 2 questions. So so you told me why you chose you told me why you chose the Gambia. So how long were you in the Gambia?
I think I was there for maybe a little over 3 weeks. It went by really fast though. I feel like time here is even, it just goes by really fast. Um, yeah, 3 weeks, about maybe a little over 3 weeks.
Time flies when you're connecting with your higher self, right? Okay, so you were there for 3 weeks. What was your experience like while you were there? We talked a little bit about this, and I thought it was interesting. Um, I think we talked a little bit about the community environment, right? So I'd love for you to talk to people about
Yeah,
like how you noticed that difference between where the States and being in the Gambia and what that was like.
yeah, it's completely different, especially coming from LA. Yeah. So
Especially LA.
it maybe I should maybe I shouldn't say it's surprising, but it was a bit I was maybe taken aback a little bit at the fact that I connected with people or family, I'm gonna call them, so fast. And like they treated me like they've known me my entire life. They were super supportive. Um, Honestly, I had a great experience. I honestly cried when I left and I got here in Ghana and FaceTime my family. I couldn't, I had to get off the phone because I was bawling my eyes out because like the love was just, it was really strong. And so yeah, yeah, it's just different. It's very communal. You're eating together, you're shopping and you're doing things together. So I want to say I wasn't used to that being and coming from LA, right? So everything is like surface level, everything. So going from that to actually crying because you miss somebody, like it was just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that says it
Yeah.
all right there. I mean, that's clearly an impactful experience. I don't know if I mean, I've had similar experiences. I think being just shocked by how different things are. Um, but I think it was a little different for me because I was already seeing family. Like I was seeing family, so I was expecting it. I think for you, you're meeting brand new people, strangers, and they're treating you like family, which I think is really interesting. Um, I love that community,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
that's the thing all around the continent, right? Is that idea of community, right? The every man for
Mhm.
themselves attitude is not as prevalent here as what I'm used to seeing in the West, for
Oh
sure.
my goodness.
Um,
Yeah. So definitely, I learned that very fast.
okay, and shout out to Anita Howard. Always, the song always comes to my head. I know. We've had this joke 100 times, but I just was listening to some '90s R&B, so Anita, you're every time I hear your name, it comes the song comes to mind. Anyway, so yes, so you mentioned, okay, so you were there a little over three weeks. So what made you
Mhm.
decide to come to Ghana and leave the Gambia?
Um, to be honest, it wasn't my idea. It was my mother's idea. So,
Okay,
and I actually listened to her. So I rarely listen to her. If she's watching right now, I did send her the link. So I love you,
okay,
mother. But so I listened to her, and
okay,
because one, I had a friend that was here. She's Ghanaian, and we'd been friends for over 10 years. So
okay.
she was currently here. She herself, her sister, and I believe her mother at the time. So I thought, like, okay, I can go to Ghana. Like, I know a few people, so maybe it won't be super rough, like, for me to just, I mean, have a pretty good experience.
Yeah.
Um, that wasn't the case, to be honest. That wasn't the case at all, but that's how I got here.
Okay. Okay. Well, we won't dig too deep into that, that in particular, unless you want to. But okay. So with your mother's advice, you came, and so you've been here how long now? Did you say?
A little over a month, so maybe a month and maybe a week or so.
Okay.
So on the 15th, it'll make 2 months. So it hasn't been 2 months yet. Yeah.
Okay. And I think Deep Web is right on time with this one. What are your challenges? Fitting in? Anything else? Your challenges? Like I was gonna ask what your experience has been like, but let's start with let's start with what are your challenges, and then we can talk about more of your other experiences.
Did you ask me a question, Joe? I'm sorry. You were
I did.
breaking
I
up.
did. I was asking you about your challenges or your experiences so far being in Ghana.
My experiences.
Yeah.
How was my traveling experience?
No, what has your experience been like living in Ghana? Shout out to MTN.
Oh, okay.
So guys, this is what we're talking about, right? So remember I told you I have MTN fiber at home. I got Vodafone fiber at home. I have a Vodafone MiFi, and I have a Surfline MiFi as well. So that's the reason why you have to have all the backups and backups, especially if you do like live streaming and videos. That is one of the challenges you will have here in certain areas, especially if you're an area that is not as developed like with the infrastructure as other areas of town. Like the area that I'm in, for instance, is an underdeveloped area. So I had to have conversations with MTN and Vodafone, have them come do some work here so that I could connect. And then I bought the MiFi as a backup just in case, because it does get really challenging sometimes to stay connected. And so that's all we're seeing right now. Some of this Miss Elaine is like, no, we lost her again. I know, but she's back. She's back. um, so I was asking. So the question was, um, what challenges have you experienced? That was Deep Web's question, and then my question was, how has your experience been in Ghana? So it's kind of a two-part question. Feel free to answer whichever one you want first.
Oh my goodness. It sounds crazy.
So it still sounds robotic to you. I'm gonna message you on WhatsApp, and maybe because we can hear you. Um,
You're gonna message me.
yeah, I'm gonna message you on WhatsApp
I
so
can
that.
hear. I can hear.
Oh, you can hear me now. Oh. So this, my friends, is what happens sometimes here. So so the question, Deep Web, was what are your challenges? So here's one challenge. The Wi-Fi keeps getting disconnected, right? So any conversations on WhatsApp, any Zoom calls, live conversations, that can be an issue in certain parts of town here. And so like depending on where you're staying, it will have those kinds of issues. It looks like she's back. So let's try it again. All right, Aya, you're back.
I'm here.
She's here.
We
Valley of
definitely learn patience.
Yeah, definitely learn patience. So Valley of the Sun Girl says, "This is my concern with Ghana, the internet." Listen, if you have some tricks of the trade,
Ah,
I has only been here for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? So the longer she's here, she'll have the multiple fibers, she'll have the backups. So there'll be different ways for her to connect online. These won't be long-term issues.
yeah.
It's just something you gotta kind of go through a little bit in the beginning sometimes. I don't know if you guys remember my first lives. I was on Vodafone here and locally, and we cut out every like 5 minutes.
Mhm.
So it's the same kind of thing. It's just it is what it is. But all right. So to the question, because I'm
Yeah.
stalling too long, and your connection seems very stable. So the question is challenges in Ghana, and then also what your experience has been so far. Two-part question.
Okay, so the last question, send it to me. The first question I heard. So challenges in Ghana. Okay, so I want to say when I was in the Gambia, hopefully you can hear me. I really.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. So when I was in the Gambia, I want to say that I was sheltered, right? So they were cooking for me 3 times a day, just everything. Yeah, I was living a life, right? So when I got here, no one was cooking for
Sorry,
me, no one was holding my hand.
I don't want to cut you off, but like because when I asked you about your experience in Gambia, you didn't mention the cooking for you 3 times a day, and so I want to go back to that because I think that, damn it. So I did want to go, and I shouldn't have interrupted her. I should have let her finish her thought. But she had people cooking for her 3 times a day. I thought that was interesting, and I definitely wanted to get into that a little bit because I think that that's a little bit unusual in a lot of different places. So I definitely want to get back on that with her because I think that's a really interesting part of her experience. Um, Deep Web says the internet connection in southern parts of Africa is stable. Yeah, I mean, I had when I worked at Jumia, right? We used to have calls with 11 different countries, right? And it was all the different regions. Actually, we didn't have anybody in Central. We had North, West, East, and South. And in each of the regions, we definitely had issues with Wi-Fi and internet connectivity, except for most of the time the folks that we had in the South Africa office and Kenya too. Kenya seemed to never really have any issues, but when it came to like Nigeria, even Algeria, Morocco, Ghana, Ivory Coast sometimes had some issues. It was just a thing, right? Like internet goes in and out. And so one of the things I always like to tell people here is, you should definitely have backups for sure. Because I think that that is one way that I think that you can prevent some of the major challenges that you're seeing today from occurring. Um, so David McCrae says, Aya got that queen energy, just saying. Yeah, I'll make sure to tell her that when she gets back on. I just want to get through some of these. No one cooking for you is not a challenge. I know. I'm going back. I'm going back to the fact that it was done because it was done for free. That's what I'm trying to get at. You can obviously hire someone, as Nee is saying, you can hire someone to cook for you. Yes, but somebody was doing it for free for her. But we're not talking about challenges. I just thought it was really interesting that she had somebody cooking for her 3 meals a day for free. So I wanted her to get into that a little bit because I thought that was a really interesting part of her experience because that is her experience. And that's definitely not my experience being here on the continent. So I thought that was really interesting. So Brown Coat Blue says, how's it going, Joe? Just got here, internet disconnected for the guest. Yes, we're having some MTN challenges. MTN is making things difficult. So she'll be back on in a moment, but there are some other questions. So Cash is saying, what are the backups? So great question. So I mentioned this a little earlier, but I have an MTN fiber line. So I have MTN fiber, and then I also have Vodafone fiber. So that means that they come out to the telephone lines and they actually connect to a power unit across the street and bring it directly into my apartment. So I have both MTN fiber and I have Vodafone fiber. I have a Surfline MiFi, which is a little Wi-Fi device like this. I left it in the States. So when I came here again, I had to get this. So I got Vodafone MiFi as well. All right, so it looks like Aya's back. I'm gonna try to figure out which stream to add her from. I think it's this one. But she has 2 on at the same time. So I think we're gonna need to disconnect one of them so that you can stay online and there's no echo. Or mute and turn off the sound on the second one. Okay, there we go. Here we go. We're back.
So I connected to the apartment's Wi-Fi. We'll see how good it is.
Okay. Wishing you all the best of luck with the apartment Wi-Fi. Okay. Goodness. So I interrupted you, and I'm sorry that I did that, but I wanted to ask you about it because you said it so like nonchalantly.
What did I say?
That you had 3 meals a day cooked for you in. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm trying to. Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. Aya, what is going on? Oh man. Okay. So we're back. So you were saying though that you had 3 meals cooked for you per day. And yes. So I just, you kind of said it so nonchalantly, I had to go back to that. So talk me through that. So when you were in the Gambia, you said there was a family, you had a family situation. They were cooking 3 meals for you per day. Talk like, how did that even
Yes.
occur?
Yes, because every time that they ate, they would cook, right? I mean, not necessarily cooking for me, but technically it felt like they were cooking for me. They were cooking for everyone, right? But so they were feeding me at least 3 times a day, you know. So that's what I was
Got it.
saying.
And so the Airbnb you were staying in there was in
Yes.
like a community, right? And so, or like, what was it, like a housing complex, or what was the situation?
Yeah. What would you even call those? There's a word for them. So it's like separate divisions. So there's one house and then the other two on each side.
Okay.
So yeah, so I had my own, like, I don't know, I think it was 2 bedroom. And then yeah, so but honestly, I was never alone. So that was pretty great though. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I had to get back into that because that's just not usual. And so I wanted you to explain that situation. Like you had 3 meals for you per day. I mean, I have 3 meals a day, but I pay for it, right? So
Yeah. I
you know,
didn't
it's a
have to
little bit
pay.
different. Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted you to mention it because I thought that was interesting. All right. So Sick Lion says there's no difference between Alaska and Ghana internet. You're probably right because Alaska is just as rural and far out from main power lines as a lot of areas in Ghana for sure. Um, yeah, that's true. That's probably not a false statement. All right, cool. So sorry, so I interrupted you. So you were saying you get 3 meals cooked for you per day while you were there, and you were saying that you were more insulated, and then you were getting to what Ghana has been like. I guess you were kind of saying that maybe you've
Oh,
gone out more or something like that. So
yeah.
we're getting to your
So
experience in Ghana.
right. So initially, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be transparent. Like coming from a sheltered lifestyle, I was like, okay, so I have to figure out what I'm eating for breakfast. So it was it was kind of difficult for me. The transition, I'm not gonna lie. So I was being spoiled. So going from that to like having to figure everything out and being independent again was like, no, why? But if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have. Anyways, so I didn't like it at first. Initially, I was like, I don't like Ghana. I don't like it. I have to do everything. I have to hustle. Whatever I want, I better go get it, you know? So I wasn't really enjoying that too much. But honestly, it's been a few weeks or it's been over a month and I honestly do love Ghana. So all of the Ghanaians watching and my friends that are watching, I love Ghana.
Good. Glad to hear it. All right, I'm gonna get to some questions from the group first before I get back to some of the questions I had for you. Um,
Okay.
let's see. Disco Dan Diablo is asking, what's up? Wait, sorry, there was some more stuff before. Sorry, Disco Dan initially was asking what your Instagram is. Do you want to share your Instagram?
My IG, I actually don't have one. So that's
There
another
you
thing
go.
with me. I'm very private, so I don't have social media. Yeah, I'm not that person. You have to catch me in real life.
There it is. So unfortunately, Disco Dan, you're not gonna be able to follow her on IG. Miss Elaine thought that that was funny. Um, let's see. Let's see if there were any other questions before we move on. Disco Dan did ask about what's up with the Chato flooding. I don't know a lot about the flooding, but here's what I do know. There's a lot of building happening here in Chato, and the issue with building is a lot of times people will like dig a lot and leave their dirt out on the street. There are many roads that aren't paved, and so there's like a bunch of puddles that end up being there. There isn't a lot of drainage, and the same issues that we saw in Sierra Leone. We were talking about the flooding last week. You do see a little bit of that in Chato in an underdeveloped area. So I hope that that answers your question, but it has a lot to do with like some of the building that's being done and not really much good. Much good. There isn't much drainage in the way that you would expect and that you would need in a place like this. Um, so Deep Web says, I wouldn't really consider internet connectivity being a challenge too. I would love to hear more about the human adjustment experiences. Yeah, so that was me speaking on your behalf because when she asked the question,
Okay.
when they asked the question, I should say,
Okay.
I spoke for you, saying internet connectivity is definitely a challenge because you
Well,
kept. But go
that
ahead.
was my backup. So this is the actual internet that I'm on right now. That was my backup. So all day the actual internet hasn't been working. Luckily I'm not working. But it has been working. So that was my backup internet. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. So this is the actual internet that I'm able to stream and like watch Netflix and whatever. So yeah, I would say it just depends. It just depends. The weather can affect that. Anything can change the darn Wi-Fi. So
Is
yeah.
there anything else that you found challenging?
Okay, so how am I gonna say this? Honestly, it's my perspective. My perspective is not to see things as challenges. Yes, I get annoyed, but
Hmm.
certain things aren't worth giving and feeding the energy towards. But let
Hmm.
me think about this challenge. Challenge. Um, I don't want to say I can think of any challenges. I feel like the internet is one of my biggest challenges, to be honest. So if you said that, Joe, you were correct. The internet is like one of my biggest. But in the Gambia, that wasn't the same. Like I had zero issues with the internet. The power went out every now and again, but it wasn't a problem. Here in Ghana, like I feel like the first few weeks it was like heaven, and then
Okay.
someone just rained on my parade. So I don't know what happened. Yeah,
Mm, pun intended, right? Because it's definitely been raining.
it's
All right. So, paint sealed Desmond. I guess Desmond. Really. Desmond says, "Don't make this live too long because of internet problems." All right, Desmond, got you, got you. Heard it, heard you, heard you. Oh, Chris Kwame got a question for you. So,
okay.
oh, so by the
So
way, someone else said you were giving Queen energy, something like that. So
hey,
I wanted to mention that to you with the fan and everything, as you can see, looking like
okay.
royalty. But yeah,
Oh,
so
thank you.
obviously, I think there's a few people that are asking similar questions. They want to know. Somebody asking for your IG. Somebody's asking your relationship status. So if you want to divulge and disclose, feel free.
So I'm single until I have a ring. So if you can, I'm not married, I'm single. So there it is.
There you go. There you go. I didn't have any questions about dating in Ghana, and I'll leave that. If you decide you want to talk about it, you can. But I left
Ooh,
that out.
child. You probably no, I don't want to make anybody I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So let's probably leave that alone. We'll save that for another day. Another day.
We'll save it for another day. I definitely want to have that conversation. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I want to hear you. Yeah, I heard some of it anyway. I'd like to tell your story at some point in time. We won't do that now. And so there's a bunch of people talk. Well, Nee and Sick Lion are mentioning there's flooding everywhere. So yes, there have been flooding.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, there's a lot of conversations about flooding. Yes, there's flooding a lot of places because it's raining. The rain's been crazy.
Right.
Disco
Yeah.
Dan had a question. How she had any interactions with the African American community in Ghana?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I want to answer for both. So in the Gambia, zero, none at all. I don't think I met or talked to any African American people.
Mm,
Here, Joe, you were my second African American person that I talked to. And then there is my friend, she has a yoni steaming shop. And that's it. Like, that's it's interesting. Yeah. So there's a balance. I have a few African American friends, and then I have a few Ghanaian friends. Yeah.
mm, okay, good point. So I had some questions. There's some more questions here. This is a relevant question. You kind of talked about this, but I think OD99 joined a little bit late.
Hmm.
Yeah, but what do you do for income while you're here, if you don't mind answering?
Oh, okay. I think I said that I work remotely. So I work remotely in finance. That's as close as, and that's how you're gonna get.
Boom, that's it. Um, wow, this is a good question. So Chris Kwame says, "What's your goal or
Ooh.
agenda on the continent?"
I have a lot of goals. I have a lot of things, but mostly is investing,
Mm,
right? And so whatever that looks like, energy, finances, just investing, and yeah, just mostly. Yeah,
okay.
that's
Nice.
it.
I love that. Investing is huge. And by the way, those of you who just joined the Instagram live, I pinned a link to the YouTube live so you can see our guests because I know you guys can hear her, but you can't see her. So the link is pinned there so you can join, so you can watch. So you know what I'm going to start doing? I saw somebody do this once. Is had a sign behind them that said like "Watch on YouTube Live" or something like that. So I might do that. I might do that. So that way those people who are on Instagram, I don't have to keep jumping in and saying that. Okay. So that was a good question. What's your agenda? What's your goal? I like it. Investing. All right. So let me see if there were any other questions that I had. Some good questions are coming out of it. So let me just go through these questions. Um, so I know this, you kind of mentioned this a little earlier. I think Chris was a little bit later joining.
Okay.
But if you want to like succinctly sum up, what was your reason behind moving
Or
to Africa?
leaving America specifically, well, that was
Yeah.
easy. I'm from
Okay.
Chicago, so that alone is enough to leave America. Um, yeah. So safety. I feel like I've never felt safe. So it was a no-brainer. If I don't feel safe somewhere, then I'm gone. That's anywhere. It doesn't matter.
Hmm. There it is. That's easy. That answers the question right there. Miss Elaine 121 says, does she work I know you kind of talked about this, but if you want to answer this, do you work? Yes, the answer is yes. The answer, the answer is yes. Um, Disco Dan says, what's your monthly budget? Okay, okay. So I think that this is a little personal, but what I think normally what we ask people is, what do you think is necessary to survive in Ghana? How much should you at least have ready to spend? Because I don't know if you want to be saying what your monthly budget is, but maybe if you want to say, what do you think people should? What's the very minimum people should expect to spend monthly? I mean, you've only been here, what,
I
three
don't.
weeks? I don't know if you've had a full month yet, but if you have any thoughts, please.
I've been here at least a month, Joe. Come on. So give me 1 month. I've been in
1
Ghana
month.
for 1 month,
Okay,
but
1
I
month.
will say that I don't have a budget, so that's really sad. That's just sad. It's very easy to spend money, so I would say I think. um,
You don't know. You can say you don't know.
no, because I just spend. So I'm not a good example because I'll
Yeah.
just spend it. And I like to support people. So I might go to the beach and I might want to support an artist. So I might spend more money than the average person would. So
Yeah, and you're a tipper, big tipper.
yeah, but
Anybody,
no, I'm
anybody
not
who's
a big
watching,
tipper.
anybody who's watching in the service industry in Ghana, if Aya comes to your establishment, you getting tips. All right, you're getting tips. She is a tipper. That is for sure. So just hope that she comes and finds you. All right. Anyway, so I know that didn't answer your question. Sorry, Disco Dan. Um, I know that didn't answer your question. Sorry, but we'll.
It
I would.
depends.
Yeah. Well, okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead. You have something. Go ahead. You said it depends.
No, it just depends. That's what I'm saying. Like, how much are you paying for accommodations? Like, and that's like most of your money. So, or at least most of mine. So I don't count other people's coins, but
Mhm.
so it depends. So, and then you can go from there. Everything I would say Ghana is affordable. I know a lot of people say that, they talk about inflation and whatever else. Me coming from LA and living in like a closet, I would say Ghana is affordable.
Boom. There it is. Another great question. Molly says, "What's up, Molly? It's been a while." Says, "Is Ghana her final stop when it comes to African countries?
No, of course not.
To
No.
move or to visit? I guess is the question."
Um, I don't know. I don't know yet. It's unwritten. I don't know.
Okay.
I
Sorry.
definitely
Somebody's saying. Okay. Well, where do you else? Well, while we talk, where do you plan to go to visit around the continent? Are there any other places you'd like to go? We can ask you that question.
Yeah, so I definitely want to go to East Africa. So whether that be Kenya, Tanzania, um, South Africa, maybe. But yeah, like I definitely don't want to just experience West Africa and that's it. Like, no, there's a world out there that I'm excited to explore.
Okay, there it is. Dope. Um, Somebody's telling me on Instagram when they click on the link they can't get to the live. Has anybody else had that issue? Sorry guys, if you had, it's supposed to be the link directly to the live, so I don't know. Anyway, just go to YouTube or go to the link in my description on the Instagram page, and then it'll take you to YouTube, and then you just click on videos, and it'll be the top video right there. You just click right there, so that should be it. All right. So Deep Web says, "Are you guys open to having someone that has lived in Africa on your channel?" I am open to having someone who's lived in Africa on my channel. I've actually learned. I tried to learn True Vaughn, who is a local content creator here. Her and I have done a bunch of content together. Definitely more than happy to have anybody who's from the continent telling their experience and their story. So for sure. Most of it is though about people who want to move from the diaspora here, but I love telling everyone's story. So maybe it's not alive, or maybe it is alive, but it's probably more likely can be another kind of interview. But reach out to me. My email address is in my contact information on the YouTube channel. So just reach out to me and we can definitely talk about it. All right. Brown PYT says, does the media outlets in Ghana talk about issues in America such as police brutality and racism? It's a great question. You don't really, do you watch the local media here? No. So I do, and it depends on how big the story is and what's happening. So sometimes it does come up. A lot of times you hear more about what's happening in Ghana, and there are other like world issues, but it definitely comes up from time to time. And then there are other news outlets that are available here, like CNN. People watch international CNN. People read and watch Al Jazeera here. So you do get access to that information if you want to have access to Western information and news. But the locals, they do have international stories. They just mostly focus on the local issues, of course. Disco Dan. I pressed it, and I should have just read it before with Disco Dan. Sometimes you got to read what he says first before you put it up on the screen. Do you want to answer this or no? You can. We don't. You don't want to. Do you want to answer this or no? Okay. So Brown Coat Blue loves Chicago. Shout out to Brown Coat Blue. I don't know if you want to talk about cannabis at all. Do you want to skip cannabis discussions?
What about it?
Okay. Disco Dan is asking if you're into the cannabis life.
So I've lived in California for at least 7 years. Yes, I have, but I'm not addicted. So socially, maybe, but yeah, it's been a few months for me.
Okay. Nee says keep your expenses to yourself. You don't have to share that with anyone. Got it. Brown Coat laughing said that the dad was Disco Dan, man. He always comes with the spice. You know what I'm saying? So Chris Kwame is asking, what area or department is she investing in? Do you want to invest in the future? Do you know yet?
So definitely I want to purchase some land. I do also want to invest in several businesses, not just one. It's a lot. Yeah, it's not just one thing. There's so many, like it's a lot. Not just one thing.
Cool. Well, I think that's obviously noble and great. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm still thinking through it. I mean, I'm investing in real estate now. I want to invest in agriculture for sure. I want to invest in like farming, agriculture, fishing, all that kind of stuff. I also want to invest in solar a little bit more. Sustainable energy is really important to me, and I think it's a prime place to have it. And then fintech, financial technology, because I think that is one way that people can move up the socioeconomic ladder. Okay. Anyway, just some common advice that Nee has. Everyone should cut their expenses according to the money they make. That is a good point. David McCrae is saying, Joe, we should make Aya visit Sierra Leone. We've talked about this, right, Aya?
Yeah, actually, on my way here, I had a layover in Sierra Leone. So I've been there, just not really there.
Not really there. Yeah, I mean, she has Timney blood in her. So technically, she could get her citizenship. But this was the one thing that came up in our discussion about this, which I was not really aware of. And I think it's important for the group to know.
Now,
So we've had this conversation on this channel for over a year now, where I've been talking to people about getting their dual citizenship, right? And because I did it in a certain way, I paid $100. You know what I'm saying? Because my parents, well, my parents are both Sierra Leonean, so it was only paying $100 to expedite the process. It actually would have been a lot cheaper. It was just
wow.
so I
See?
paid more to make it happen in 3 days, and it was it was between Christmas and New Year. So
Wow.
this was back in 2018, and I got it in January 2019, right? So I've been a Sierra Leone citizen since then. When I heard about this option for going through African ancestry and other options for getting your citizenship, I got excited about it. I started telling people about it. I also had Aisha Ladan on, and she explained it. One thing I neglected to ask was how much it is. And so I think we should talk about this because was that part of a barrier for you in terms of deciding about getting your citizenship and even going to Sierra Leone because you knew you had Sierra Leone blood?
Yeah. So I'll just say this. Without flight, I believe it's like $5,000. Just yeah, without yeah. That's what I saw on their website. Something like that. So
Wow.
yeah.
And it's been reinforced to me that figure has been reinforced to me by others. So yeah, I mean, it is going to cost you upwards of $5,000, which I was not aware of, and I can't believe I never thought to ask that before. So that is important for all of you to know, because it isn't cheap, and it does require a financial commitment, a substantial financial commitment. Um, but I do think it's worth it in the long run, to have a citizenship from another country just beyond the United
Mhm.
States, just because.
I agree.
But I also understand that it is quite the financial commitment. So I think it's important to know that, and I wanted to share that with you all. But in the meantime, Aya can still go to Sierra Leone. She would just have to get a visa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to get Aya to Sierra Leone. I want you to experience Sierra Leone, but um, you got other things that you're working on and doing, and maybe that's a conversation for another time. But we'll make sure that happens. All right. So Deep Web is saying come to Namibia.
For sure. I've seen Namibia. It's beautiful. So I'm definitely gonna come.
Okay. Plenty of places to visit. Nia saying in Ghana. Multifaceted Shay says, how's the weather? Is it chilly at night?
I don't think so. Is it?
Mm-mm.
I'm never cold.
No, I mean, we are not cold.
Okay.
Locals have told me
Oh
I've
my
heard
goodness.
it's cold with I've seen bomber jackets, right? Like bomber jackets at night here. But I
Yeah.
don't know what the temperature actually is, probably like 67, 68 at night.
Right.
Um, maybe with
Yeah.
a little bit of an ocean breeze, but it's definitely not cold. Like I have this on today because I've been going out at night. But this is something I'll wear during the day if it was in LA. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But like I'll
Mhm.
wear a long sleeve at night, but it's not cold, not to me. But yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
you're
It's
saying
different, right? It's never cold to me, but as you said, like the locals, they seem very sensitive to everything. Okay, no, that was just wrong to say. See, look at that. I wasn't being shady. I meant to say.
with your fan.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness. So I meant to say that they always say that they're hot or they always say that they're cold. So it's never like a good temperature.
mhm. Goldilocks. Remember the Three Bears? It's too hot, it's too
I
cold.
definitely remember. Save me, please.
So,
Don't
um,
comfort me.
so Deep Web is saying Namibia is gonna you get to see what true beauty is going to
Beauty.
Namibia.
Sure.
Okay, so African millennial. No, they don't talk about it. Why would they? Wait, what talk about what? Oh, talk about what's going on in the States. Okay, so I'm a little bit behind on some of the questions.
Okay.
Sometimes when I read these questions and comments, they're from like 10 minutes back, and so I have to do some recall to remember back to what we were talking about. Got it. Um, okay, so Nee says when the issue is big, then the local news will talk about it. Like a school shooting, it comes up, right? But
Right.
like something that gets a lot of international news comes up. But there's weekends like 4th of July weekend, there was like 15 murders in New York or something like that, whatever the number was. That's not going to end up in the news here. It's unlikely. Um, but yeah, so
Mhm.
there's okay. So yeah, so Nee's just backing me up saying there's access to international media outlets in Ghana if you want. Um, So Truth is asking an interesting question. I guess it depends on how you identify. But Truth is asking, is Aya African American or African?
I was born in America, but I'm African.
Okay. Yes. So so both technically, right? By default, she's African, but she's an African American. I am technically an African American too, right? Because I was born in America, but I am of African descent, right? So technically. Um, Wow, Chris has an interesting question. This is an interesting question. This is like out of the realm of your experience here in Ghana. So I don't even know the difference, and maybe you do. I don't, but I'm interested to hear your answers to this if you want to answer it.
Okay.
Uh, what is your view on feminist versus feminine? I don't even understand the question.
I
So
think I
how would you answer the
understand.
question?
So I'm going to go off the top of what my mind is saying. I think that people put energy in places where it's not necessary.
Okay.
Like this feminine, you should be more feminine. You should be, whatever. I think that women are amazing. And I feel like that's it. Women are amazing. So, and I feel like you may not always be super feminine all the time. Don't beat yourself up about it. And that's it. I feel like we do what we have to do as women. So, obviously, being on the African continent, I've been able to be more feminine because I have a community that is here to support me. That probably didn't answer your question, but that's my view.
There it goes. I'm not even gonna touch that. So I'll move on to the next one. I usually answer all questions. I'm not even going there. So Deep Web so okay. So that makes sense that your name is Deep Web. Now it makes sense. You have an internet service provider business. I like that you spelled it out though. ISP, internet service provider business. Maybe we can talk. Yeah, maybe we can talk because all of this that I got to do, we should definitely have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because I need some additional services for sure. Um, so Bronco Blue says you can watch Joy News, GBC, and a couple other media outlets on YouTube to stay up to date with what's going on in Ghana. That is true. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Disco Dan is out here throwing spice. Um, Disco Dan is giving his opinions and advice on where you should get your Sierra Leone citizenship from who and from who not. I'm not even going to put that up on screen. Um, Nee says if you don't use an engineering construction company, then you have to be present if you use local artists and informal workforce. Oh, you're talking about the house building process. So there was, I think Nee had mentioned building a house first. So I skipped that. Sorry. Please buy your first house or apartment. You build your dream house later. That is what I'm doing in
Yeah.
Sierra Leone. Sorry
Yeah.
for you if you have to comment on that.
Please buy my first house. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You agree?
I honestly believe that the first place that I'll be purchasing anything is probably in the Gambia. That's my perspective.
Mm.
So That could change, but I'm thinking that that may be the way to go for me as of right now.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I just got a random text from New York. Anytime something comes in from New York, I get a little nervous. There's a whole nother conversation I don't want to even bring up on this live, but okay. So Lola is saying you should visit Nigeria. Is it on your
Mm.
list of places to go? What's up? Talk to me.
It was. And then
Okay.
I heard some people say a few things.
Mm,
So I feel like safety is everything to me. So
yeah.
I don't, if I felt safe, then yes, I would go. I would have to go with someone that knows. I
Yeah.
mean,
The lay of the land.
but yeah, I'm not sure. I would love to go, but there's a few concerns that I may have.
Yeah, I would definitely mention that as a single woman going to Nigeria by yourself, if you're not used to it and you haven't been there, um, there are certain places that make the most sense to stay, like Victoria Island, which is where I was. But it is a little different. It's different, and yeah, you definitely want to have people there. I had someone get me a car service to pick me up from the airport. I My ex girlfriend was there, so but she went by herself. But she's lived in Sierra Leone and she's lived in the rough parts of Sierra Leone. So when she went, she didn't feel as like it. Well, she didn't feel as like it was so different, and she also had some friends there and places to stay. So I definitely recommend knowing someone there before you go as a single woman for sure. But I did enjoy my experience there for 2 weeks. I did, and I do plan on going back. Okay, yo, this is hilarious. I had to show it because I think it's hilarious. So I'm gonna read it. Come to Namibia. I'll put a ring on it, and you won't have you will have citizenship that day.
Oh
Shout out to
goodness.
marriage proposals coming all over the place. Marriage proposals. People want to follow you on IG. Um,
African men. I love African men.
mm, different from Western men, huh? Different from Western men. Let's move on. So David McCrae says that's expensive. There must be a less expensive way. So this is speaking to the ability to get your citizenship in
Of
Sierra Leone.
course.
Too much off the side. Is there a less expensive way, or is it 5K? What do you know?
Maybe,
I mean,
yeah, maybe not in Sierra Leone, but someone else will give you an ECOWAS for way cheaper than $5,000. But that's not my business to share.
okay, interesting. That's a whole nother thing. We'll have that conversation for another day off camera. Maybe we'll talk about it. All right. So Stunning Empire says it's not 5K without flight if you go through Salone Hidden Gems.
Okay,
Okay, so
that's good to know.
5K would include, I guess, the flight. Is that what you're saying, Stunning Empires? That okay, because okay, you're
No,
saying 5K is the African ancestry price. That's what Stunning Empire.
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so but what is okay? But so okay, so this is a good point because I know that they cover your housing and transportation and a bunch of other things you do while you're there, right? If you were to
Hmm.
remove all of those, I'm interested to find out. Maybe I should do that, and I'll share it all with you guys. What the fee is just to get it, because then maybe there's another way to make it happen. But going to Sierra Leone, if you want to stay somewhere that you feel comfortable, you guys have seen all the videos on my channel, all the different hotel rooms and the extended stays that I've showed you. They're $150 a night to $220 a night, and if you're staying
Yeah.
for a week or 2 weeks, you're spending like a G or $2,000 right there. And then on top of that, you have to pay for your transportation to get around. So are you going to rent cars? If you rent a car, it's like $60 a day. If you want to just take the public transport, you could do that too. But there are it costs a bit. So I'm sure you can get around it for a price, but you need to have a local guide. And maybe that's something I should look into. It sounds like there's a need that needs to be fulfilled. So maybe I can look into ways that I can help people. There's some people making disparaging remarks about people who are doing the trips to Sierra Leone in the comments. I'm not going to put them up there because I don't know them personally. I don't know those experiences, so I'm not going to put them up. But the only person who I've asked specifically and had their experience shared was Aisha, who did it through African ancestry. Spear Warrior did it. I don't know if Spear Warrior is on today, but if you want to mention how you did it, it might be interesting. I'd love to hear about that. Miss S says, wrong company. I'm going this November through VSL, and with 2 adults and a child, it's a total of 5,200 without air. So, okay, so VSL is Visit Sierra Leone. These guys have started a company. This guy Bimbola, who I've been wanting to interview forever. We've been talking about it back and forth. Every time I go to Sierra Leone, we never like cross paths. But he started this company, and part of it is they have a license with the government to do tourism stuff, related things. And so I guess they're also offering that. Bronco Blue is saying, is that the tour cost, the 5K? Okay, we're getting off tangent. We're talking about Sierra Leone now. We'll do a whole separate thing about that. Today's interview is Aya and her experience in the Gambia and in Ghana. So I don't want to get too far off on a tangent. Man, listen, I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up doing like a dating show. I need to do a dating show because when women like you get on, people start asking questions about whether you're single. They want to marry you. I want to start doing that. I've seen a couple things. The one girl who does pineapple and then singles only. Those two, I'm going to do a version of that for Africa. I'm just going to have to do that because clearly there's some demand for this for sure. With that, the next question is, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? That's a really good question. I enjoy going to the beach. Is that fun?
Yes, of course.
Going out sometimes
Mm-hmm.
at night.
Mm-hmm. Pina colada.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So going out, going to the beach. Okay. I mean, and those are two things you could do in abundance here, right? There's obviously Labadi Beach, and there are plenty of places to go out to. What else?
But also, I didn't mention, because I do find this fun, like self-care, wellness. I enjoy getting a massage and a facial. So that's fun for me, honestly. So that is.
And you've gone here, right?
I have. So, and when that's another thing. Black women, having a Black woman give you a massage and a facial and a manicure and a pedicure is just a whole nother level of just amazing. So, yeah.
Nice. Self-care. Boom. There it is. It's important. I need to get a massage. I need a massage. I've been a little stressed. So I'm gonna have to get to one of these places. All right. So Nee's answering the question about if it's cool at night. He says a brie could be cool in the mornings and evenings. And I've never even known there's an area called Kwaku, but it makes sense because that's a name here. It can be cold in the morning at night. I will say I've been to a brie and it was a little bit cooler. I got up there. Well, we left a little bit later. It was starting to get warm. But I do hear that because it's up in the mountains, it can get a little bit cooler. So that's probably true. Yeah. But like being in main parts of Accra, you don't really feel cool at all. So Stunning Empire says African ancestry is the most expensive. Please consider other options so you can get your citizenship. This is speaking to citizenship in Sierra Leone. African Millennial says Southern African nations seems to be better for African Americans. That's interesting. I guess it depends. Miss S says I just looked at my email and one adult is $3,100. Okay. Brownco Blue says Namibia is definitely on my list as well. Nice. Oh, here we go. Here's a good question. Oh, and by the way, quick time check. We are at an hour and 14 minutes, so we can go as long as you feel like going.
Okay.
So you can let me know if you feel like you're ready to go at any point in time. You're open
out. Yes, well, to my encounter. Okay, so I think that
you answer this question. I need to do a quick restroom break. Okay, so you go for it.
Okay, so yeah, I believe I have, but probably not in the way that you think. So my encounter with the police has been like maybe I went to immigration and they were telling me, okay, I shouldn't be in this area, I should move. And I probably was like joking with them and telling them that they made my life more complicated and just laughed. And they, it was just something just fun. So my encounter with Ghanaian police officers, honestly, is nothing like being in America and experiencing discrimination or any type of PTSD, thinking that my life is in danger. So it's completely different. But I guess everyone's experience is different. That was fast.
I have a small bladder. I urinate quickly in case you needed that detail. So, yes, I go often, and I go quickly. So, and I got a water, but I also ran. I ran because I didn't want to stay
I
off the.
see. So I'm like, I'm like, if I'm saying enough. But yeah, no, my experience probably wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't probably what you think. I was just joking, and that was it. So nothing serious.
All right. Great answer. I heard most of that. I was nearby.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. All right, there's a lot here about the Sierra Leone stuff. I love that you guys are telling each other about it. I'll have to read through it because I don't even know all the things that we do. And I need you guys to lobby for me because I'm trying to be a part of actually showing this to the world. So you guys need to reach out to African Ancestry on my behalf. I'm going to reach out to them too, but let them know that I want to film the process. And I got my whole team in Sierra Leone now to film me and go through the process. So I'm down to do it for free because I just want the content. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Pay me. All right, so what do we have? Brown Coat Blue says, or just rent a place for 2 years so you have time. Okay. Um, some people are saying to visit Nigeria in December. Go with a
Mhm.
Nigerian.
Yeah.
Nee saying Joe can accompany you to Nigeria. I could accompany you to Nigeria.
No, Joe. It's a no.
Don't worry, I'll keep you safe. All right. So anyway, Anthony Clementson says Nigeria is a lot of fun in December. I do hear that, and I've had friends who've been there in December. I have a homegirl that's actually Nigerian, and she goes often. But she has like a whole crew. She has a team. She also makes a substantial amount of money, so she lives in a very, 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 very nice place when she goes there. She does not encounter who she does not want to. Like she has drivers, the whole thing. Like she has a system. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I mean, she goes on her own all the time, but she has a system and she knows a bunch of people. Um, African Millennial does say Nigerians need to promote Nigeria better. Okay. So Miss Elaine was laughing at Deep Web for the proposal, I guess. Was it Deep Web that proposed? I'm sorry if it wasn't you, Deep Web. I don't know who it was. Nee says African men go straight to the point when it comes to women.
Very
Um,
true.
Yo, is this a dating show? Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Chris.
Ah,
Shout out to
honestly,
Deep
this is
Web.
ah
Do you want to answer
honesty,
this question or do you want to skip it?
honesty more than anything. Or honestly, to be honest, okay, now I'm taking back
Is that
into
all?
that.
Just honesty?
Mm, that's a lot of it, to be honest, because
Mm,
people just aren't honest with themselves, right? So
mm,
yeah.
that is true. Um, so Nee said vet the men. Is that for me or for you? I don't know. Um, Okay, so Jerry Campbell just came in, so he's going to ask a question that probably has been answered before. But just came in, so my apologies if this has been asked before. But for an American entrepreneur, which country is the best has the best investment prospects? I can kind of answer this. Hold on. Oh, this is between Ghana and the Gambia. Okay, I appreciate Ghana is bigger, more developed country than the Gambia. So I'm guessing you're asking about between the Ghana and the Gambia. Um, well, here's what I would answer, and then maybe if you actually, do you want to answer this? This question's for you. Do you have an answer to this, and do you want to answer this?
What is the question?
Oh, the question was, as an American
Which
entrepreneur, which
country has the
country
best
has the
investment?
best investment prospects?
I can't answer that.
Okay, so I can, and I would say this: when it comes to any investment, you want to go. So there's two ways you can look at it, right? You can look at it as you can get in on the very ground floor before there's other competition, and you can be very few, but also there's much more risk. Or you can go to another market where there is a little bit more of a upward trajectory. There's already movement, there's already an industry, but there's more competition, so your investment's going to be more expensive. So it's really dependent on your I've definitely been up since 6 a.m. this morning. It depends on it depends on your appetite for risk is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm looking for. So if you're big on risk mitigation, then you probably want to go with a bigger country. If you are not so risk adverse, then you can go with investing in a smaller country. But I will say though, in smaller countries and more burgeoning economies, your investment will probably take longer to come to fruition in terms of being able to pay you back. But if you invest big and you build something before everybody gets there, the next 20 years of your life could be amazing, like building a hotel in the Gambia somewhere that people haven't or something like that, right? So
Yeah.
um, I think it depends on you. All right. Um,
Hmm.
okay. Okay. I'm trying to read the questions before I start posting them on the screen before I go ahead and get in here. Oh shit. I don't even know if I want to. Man, you guys are great. This is hilarious. I'm really trying to get people to understand what it's like to move to Ghana. This is not supposed to be like a dating show, but some of the questions are hilarious. And I will say there are a lot of you on this live that haven't been on before, a lot of new people, and more people that are on than are normally on. So I think this is great. And so Aya, you've definitely attracted a lot of interesting discussion points. Um, Cash did say y'all are wild on this live today. She read what I just read, and I will screenshot it for you and send it to you.
Oh,
It's not too crazy, but I'm just not gonna. We're not gonna. I don't want to get too far off track. You can answer
okay,
it. You can
that's
answer
good.
it later.
That's good.
Here's a
Okay.
question. Anthony Clementson says, "Do you plan on moving back to the U.S. permanently?" Don't make
Oh
that
no,
face. Don't
I
make that
have no
face.
reason to. I have zero. I feel like honestly, I learned everything that was meant to be learned while I was there, and I love so many people there. But as far as living, there's no reason for me to be in any place where I don't feel safe.
There it is. Safety first. Val, comedian. What's up, Val? It's been a minute. We're both in Ghana. We're both in Ghana. She's asking, where are you now? We're both in Ghana. But I'll be in Cologne. Well, maybe I should mention this really quickly. I'll be in Cologne, Germany at the end of the month for a week. And then I'm in Atlanta for a week, New York for 2 weeks, LA for 2 weeks, and then back to New York until middle of November. And then I'm in Sierra
Wow.
Leone until the end of the year. Wait, I lost you. What did you say, Aya?
I just said, wow, like that was fast. I feel like you just got back, right?
I did. I know. I've only been here for a little over a month, and I'm about to be out again. I mean, I think we've talked about this. I've only been in Ghana this year for 4 months, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
We're in the
Yeah.
ninth month. I've only been here 4 months out of the total year. It's been an interesting year, guys, as you guys all know. And it's funny. Anyway, moving on. So that was a good question. That was a good question. Okay, here's a good question.
Oh, local
Have you
markets.
visited any of the local markets?
Oh, sure. Honestly, that's all that I know. I can't say that I've been to very many tourist areas or like places where there's expats. Everything that I do is local. I actually enjoy going and walking to get my breakfast. At least not now because I'm in a different location, but I used to walk in the morning to get my breakfast and I sit down and chat with the locals. So it was definitely a vibe. Um, so yes, of course.
There you go. Um, so one more thing, going back to Sierra Leone because it has come up a bunch and it's here. So Anita has said yes, it's less expensive to go through Gullah Dugu too. Um, yeah, I found out like really late in life that like that show Gullah Island and the Gullah Island off of South Carolina is a bunch of like Sierra Leonean descendants. I had no idea, even though my sister used to watch the show all the time. I think it was on Nickelodeon or something.
So
And
good. Yeah.
Gullah Island, right? You remember that show? So
Yes.
um, they are apparently descendants of Sierra Leoneans. And when I was in Sierra Leone, a bunch from South Carolina came and they were like, we're the Gullah something group. And I was like, wait a second, what? And it just all came together. I was like, oh, interesting. Anyway,
Very nice.
so Odie99 said instead of pineapple show, you could do Banku show and bring some nice Ghanaian sisters. At some point, I'll do some version of that. Um, I don't know if it would just be Ghanaian though, because I think we want to show love to the whole continent. So I'll probably do like jollof or something instead of the pineapple show. But you know about the pineapple show, Odie99? That must be a really popular show because I came across it and I'm stuck on it. And also singles only is hilarious. These are great things. So I definitely want to do that if you guys want to see that and it's clear that some people want to go through that process, I'm definitely down to do a second live each week where we do like a dating show and we match people because Aya's getting a lot of love and we didn't even come here with that discussion in mind. So I would imagine if we came with that, all the eligible bachelors will be coming through, and she'd have to like beat them off with a stick or her fan, I guess. Um, all right, so here's a question. Henry Ross,
Oh,
LA is in the house. Shout out to you. What kind of books do you enjoy reading? That's a good question.
this is a very good question. Honestly, I started reading audiobooks because reading a physical book, it just doesn't happen. So audiobooks, I read at least 30 books within a few months. But my favorite book is The Untethered Soul, I believe is what it's called. Mostly I like to read or listen to books that have to do with the mind and kind of the way that the brain may process certain things. So I'm always wanting to learn about the human experiences and things that we're unconscious about. So yeah, mostly.
There you go. Boom. I got nothing to add there. Except I read nonfiction mostly. Well, I don't read, I listen. I have reading comprehension issues, as you all know. I've mentioned it many times. So I'm an auditory learner, visual learner. So I consume books through listening, not through reading. But yeah, I do. They're not at. They were asking you, not asking me. Anyway, so here's a good question. Brown Coat Blue says, "Have you had a chance to go to any other regions yet? If so, what is your favorite so far? Have you?"
Not here in Ghana.
Okay.
No. I've been trying to get to Cape Coast, so
Okay. Definitely go to Cape Coast for sure. I would definitely recommend that. We'll talk about that offline. Chris Kwame says, what is your view on gentrification on the continent due to the influx of African Americans and foreign businesses? Interesting. I have a thought. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to even answer this?
no, I don't.
Okay. So here's my view. I think that anything that has a net positive also can also have a net negative, right? So I think that it's no black or white. There is a gray area on this one. So, like for instance, the year of return brought $3 billion to Ghana in a 4 month or 5 month span, right? Which is an amazing feat for a country. Every country would wish to have that kind of influx of cash, right? And the developments and the businesses are all great overall because that means more money circulates in the economy. However, what it means though, then at the same time, is that people can't afford to live in the capital city who are normally residents of the capital city, just like other regions around the world. Like, so I lived in Brooklyn on Flatbush. I lived in a rent stabilized apartment. I still stay in that apartment when I go to Brooklyn, and most of the businesses and many of the people who lived there got priced out and had to move. And so, in that sense, there are some negative impacts of being of bringing in this large influx of people and cash. And I think a lot of that has to do with some of the inflation that's happening and things like that. So and then you also have this other issue. Like, I'm looking for an apartment right now, and the prices I'm getting quoted are ridiculous, crazy, crazy prices. So, like compared to what they were before. And so I would definitely say that's my thought process on that. I'm gonna bring Aya back. Okay. Um, Chris B says, I'm Ghanaian, and what are the negatives about living in Ghana? I think you've answered this already, the challenges. But do you have anything to add here or
I
no?
don't know that I would call them negatives, to be honest. It's just what my experience was. And that
Okay.
was that it's like, okay, being from a major city, it gives major city energy being in Accra. So whether that means you should be assertive at certain times or you will be taken advantage or walked all over. So yeah, it depends. I wouldn't call them negatives. I would just say that you have to be assertive at times to get what you want.
Mm, fair. Um, all good points. Um, and I think I've told you guys my thoughts. In my building, there's a water issue because they don't keep the tanks full, and sometimes water doesn't come to all parts of the city. But electricity is mostly fine here, much better than what I saw in Nigeria, and much better than what we have in Sierra Leone for sure in terms of electricity and the stability of electricity. Water is a bit of a challenge here. The Wi-Fi connectivity is a bit of a challenge, I will say. Um, but I would say those are my major challenges. I mean, you can see Wi-Fi is an issue. We keep losing Aya every 2 seconds. Okay, so I'm realizing that some of these. No, you're back, but you're just kind of like frozen. You're kind of like doing a robot thing.
Oh no, I didn't even know.
It's all good. We can still hear you though. So that's all that matters. So there's a bunch of stuff here from like 20 minutes ago. Deep Web is really pitching Namibia hard. Shout out to Deep Web and the pitch for Namibia. I believe you look at stability in the country you are planning to invest in. Look at Namibia. It has lots of potential. Boom. There you
That's
go.
beautiful.
There you go. You can get your citizenship and an investment advice all in one. Um, Spear Warrior just joined. Yeah, Spear Warrior. So maybe you want to. What's up? If you want to like answer everyone as to what you did for your trip to Sierra Leone for your citizenship. Who did you use and what did you use and what was your experience? Maybe you can let people know in the notes because they've been talking about it and they were talking about price and all that stuff. So if you want to share, feel free to share in the comments. Um, okay, so Deep Web says the only problems they have is leaders. Um, Jerry saying we should connect when you come back stateside. Well, yeah, message me. We'll talk. Miss Elaine says, can you share her information? Your Nigerian friend who goes to Nigeria and doesn't have any problems traveling there. I'll ask her. She's actually going to be in Ghana at the end of September. We're not even going to cross paths. She's going to be here for the global. What is it? Global, whatever that that concert is.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, she's going to be here for that. But I'll ask her if I can share her information. She's not like a public figure or anything. She's a lawyer. So and I know her Instagram is private and stuff like that. So she may or may not want her information shared. But if I can, or if you have any specific questions that you want me to ask her, you can ask me and then I can ask her as well. Because it's probably unlikely that she'll want me to give out her information. Just to manage expectations there. Excuse me. All right, wait. Before we go on, we're now an hour and 35 minutes in. I just want to do a quick temperature check for you, Aya. You can say how much time you want, if you want to keep going, whatever. I do want to check in with you because we've been going for a minute and there are a lot more questions and comments. So I just want to do a quick check, see if you're good.
As long as you feel fine, as long as you don't like fall out, then I'm fine.
Okay, good, because I won't. Today I won't fall out. I was reminded earlier today though that I've definitely fallen asleep on live twice when I was in New York, and that was embarrassing. You like
I
I've
remember.
seen I've seen I've seen heroin addicts nod off, not to joke about people who are addicted to drugs. But when I watched it, I looked at it and I just thought, I hope people don't think that I have some kind of addiction. Because like it was mid sentence. I don't know if you guys caught it. If you guys caught it when it happened in New York, but I went back and watched the live, and I was like, "Yo, it's really bad." Because I felt it from the inside, but I had to watch it to see it live. Anyway, moving on. So I'm glad that you have the energy to keep going because we got some time to go. We can't go past 2 hours. I think that might be too much. So we got another 24 minutes. So we're gonna try to answer these questions. Um, all right. Ghana playlist says if you're in your 30s, please get a flat or land in Ghana. It will be the best decision you have made when you are 50. You better believe it. There's actually a plot of land across the street from me that I'm thinking about trying to buy. I just have my investments, my money tied up in a lot of different places, so we'll have to figure that out. Amara says, Salon Bobo, authentic African. How are you? I'm good. I'm very good. I don't know who this is though. The way you're saying that, it makes me feel like I know you, but I can't tell who it is by the pictures. So who is Amara? Let me know. Um, but what's up, Adea? Ade. So Miss Elaine 121 says, Aya, why don't you feel safe in the U.S.? Is it because Chicago is not safe? Do you consider moving to other states in the U.S.? Okay, interesting.
Child, I don't know a place in America that is safe.
And that's that. Ghana's the 12th safest country in the world. The United States is top 50, but it's closer to 50 than it is to 1.
They probably
Okay.
paid to be on that list. America. I doubt that it's even up there.
No, I mean, I can understand it knowing what I know about different countries, civil wars, etc. But yeah, it's top 50. There's only 206, right, countries in the world apparently. So if that's anyway,
Okay.
let's move on. So Chris Kwame says, should African banks encourage dollar account for the African Americans, and what's the effect on the local economy? Should African banks encourage it? Um, so sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I have a dollar account, um, but that's because when you have a local currency account and the situation is like what it is currently, um, it just affects you negatively when you're taking your money out. It's just issues. Like, I mean, I've yeah, I have dollar accounts. I have a dollar account in Sierra Leone, and I'm adding a dollar account in Ghana. And I'll be using the dollar account. I won't be using the local currency. When I take the money out, they'll take their fee out of it, and it'll be in Ghana CDs. But
Mhm.
I mean, that is a hack here. You definitely want to have a dollar account. Um, but I don't think that's what's necessarily affecting the economy because most people, a lot of times, at least in Sierra Leone, the banks will they don't always give you US dollars. They'll try to give you back like the local currency. And
Right.
so there's not as many dollars in circulation when you're here. So I don't know if that's necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Um, Disco Dan has an interesting question. Are you comfortable eating with your hands?
It depends on what it is, to be honest. Um, It depends.
Mm.
So sometimes, not all the time though, I won't say.
And I'm gonna just tell y'all, I'm gonna say that's a no from me. I know I'm supposed to be West African. I get it. I don't eat fufu. First of all, I don't like the taste. When I ate chicken, I preferred boneless because then you could put a fork in it and eat it. You don't have to take it apart. I don't like getting food on my hands and my fingernails, all that stuff. So
Mm.
I don't eat with my hands. I did it once though. If you guys want to see me look like a fool trying to eat emotuo and groundnut soup here in Ghana, definitely check it out. It's hilarious. I look like an idiot, but I tried it. I tried it at least. Um, Antisocial Socialite, love that name. Says love your content. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you want to watch, and Amina's on too. If you guys want to watch and see our lovely guests, go click on the link in that's pinned and come to the YouTube channel and watch on YouTube. All right, cool. Oh my goodness. People are asking questions about your dating preferences. Do you want to answer these questions?
Um, dating preferences now. Now we're in the
There's a very
preference.
specific one. Do you want one? Do you want to
Who
answer
do
it?
I prefer? Oh goodness.
There's one
But
coming. There's one coming. Wait, no, I'm gonna put the question up, but do you want to answer them or no? You can skip them. You don't have to. This is not
my
about your
mom
dating
on this
preference.
live.
I mean, your mom has to know what your dating preferences are, doesn't she?
Child, she doesn't know me for real. But
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. So you want to answer it? Okay.
I
So
probably don't. I probably don't. What
you
does it
said
say?
previously that all that matters is honesty. I don't know if she said all that matters is honesty, but she said honesty matters.
That's a lot of it. If you can be honest with yourself, then maybe you can be honest with me. But okay.
Okay. There you go. There you go. How tall are you and does height matter?
Okay. See, this isn't a bad question.
No, it's not one, but it's not on topic. So that's why I wasn't sure if you wanted to answer it.
I'm 5'2",
Mm-hmm.
and height of I'm short or considered short, so I think everyone's taller than I am, so I don't think it's a big deal.
That is a reasonable response. Thank you for that. Because you don't know how many people 5'1" out there talking about I need someone 6'1". I'm realizing that my beard has a little bald spot. Uh-oh. Did I not
I
notice that?
can't see it. I think you are the only one that can see it because I can't see it.
All right. Well, I mean, it's not like we're just the only two on here, too. My bad, y'all. Let's get back on topic. so so Nee is saying about the idea of the pineapple show copy or my own version of it, Jollof Rice show represents all of West Africa. Great idea. Yeah, I'm gonna do a dating show because clearly, and you know who's gonna be my first guest? Aya. Aya is gonna be my first guest when I do the dating show. Because look at this. I guess it's that fan, it's the braids. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Midwestern Chicago accent. I don't know, but you got all the people on here. We keep going down this path. I mean, this is like a one-on-one conversation. Chris, I know that she doesn't have other social media, so you can't reach out to her directly.
I
You are
don't.
asking a lot of other questions specifically about her dating preferences and what she wants. And I know that Deep Web had some stuff too. But I'm gonna say I know her zodiac sign.
I'm a Scorpio, so if that doesn't scare you away, good luck.
Yeah, they ask if you believe in them. Why?
I believe that your entire natal chart has to do with, I mean, who you are as a human.
I'm back.
Why or why not? Yes, of course. Yeah, of course I do. Yeah. Tell me your birthday, the year you were born, and like the time, and I'll tell you who you are.
All right. Damn. All right, Chris. This is not a dating show. We're not gonna go through all your questions. I appreciate it. And shout out to Chris for shooting his shot. You know what I'm saying? I like
Shout
it.
out
And
to Chris.
he's also trying to vet you at the same time he's shooting this shot on the live, you know. But You know what? Well, she'll find you if she wants to have that one-on-one discussion with you about her zodiac sign, if she's religious and all of that. She'll find you, and you guys can have that one-on-one discussion. And I'm not hating. I'm not hating. I just we can't. That's not what the purpose of this
I
live was for.
totally agree. I am agreeing
Um,
100% with you. Yes.
okay, here's a good question. Africana says, what local languages did your host and other contacts in Gambia speak? One
Hmm.
interesting connection between Gambia and Sierra Leone is the commonality of the Creole Oku, known as Aku in Gambia. So it's like our pidgin language is what we speak in Sierra Leone. It's called Creole. So yeah, I guess the question is meant for you.
So they spoke Wolof. I'm trying to think what other language that they spoke, but I learned a little bit of Wolof, just very minimal. The kids were teaching me. When I tell you the kids, I miss the kids so much. If they're
Mm.
watching this, I love you guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, So I will say this just really quickly. You mentioned Wolof. So the Wolof people is a tribe in Senegal. I do not know how Gambia became a country. I don't know any history about it. I just realized that it basically goes around a river, which is in Senegal in total, which makes sense that they speak Wolof in the Gambia,
Mhm.
because their tribes would have crossed borders and all of that.
Exactly.
They're man-made
Yeah.
borders, of course. Um, and of course, Wolof, Jollof, you kind of see the correlation. So that's where it started. Senegal is where Jollof rice started. And most people will say the further you go west, the better the Jollof rice gets. I have not had Senegal Jollof, but I do know it is better in Sierra Leone than it is anywhere else I've been. So that I'm just going to tell you guys. And we've already had this conversation. And it's already We've already talked about it on live. I'm putting out a video today where I talk about, I mean, on Wednesday where I talked about it. Mariama and I were in London. We talked about it's a thing. So just you're gonna know it's a thing. We're gonna talk about it. Sierra Leone, I'm gonna say, has the best so far that I've tasted. Anyway, moving on. Manelik missed today's call, but he's gonna be catching up later. Yes, definitely catch up. Good evening, good evening. Okay, Brown Coat Blue had a question for you. Favorite restaurant so far, Aya?
Ooh, goodness. I don't like this question. Please don't judge me.
Don't say Burger King, because I will judge you.
No. Favorite restaurant. I don't know that I have a favorite, but I do have certain. Okay, so I also hired someone to cook like or prep my meals, and they're way healthier. But I did like this restaurant. I believe it was called Soft Hands, and they had really good like chicken wings. Their jollof was really good. But see, these aren't like traditional foods, so and then pizza as well. I think it's called Pizza Man. I love Pizza Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Pizza Man. One of my challenging. Anyway, um, I don't eat pizza. I miss pizza. I miss pizza. I don't eat pizza. So
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous of the idea of pizza. I get it. So Chris is concerned. Chris says you seem tired. Which are you tired? Are you tired, Aya?
Me? Am I tired?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm tired. If I am, then I don't know it.
Okay. Favorite local food? Bronco Blue is asking.
Oh goodness. I can't really answer that because I haven't had enough. There is this stew that I ate, but I don't remember what it was called. I believe it had peanuts in it and it was really good and it had beef. Very good. I just had it like 2 weeks ago or maybe last week. I
Was it
think it
on a
was
Sunday?
yeah, when I went to brunch. So it was
Yeah,
really good. I don't remember what it was called. And that's
I
another
know.
thing. I just eat things. So it's like
So they call it the Sunday special here, right? And it's ground nut soup or peanut soup, peanut butter soup.
oh,
Yeah,
it was
peanut butter
really
soup.
good.
We have it in Sierra Leone as well. Yeah,
Ah,
it is good. It is good. I actually had some for dinner today. My housekeeper makes it for me.
look at
So
that.
yeah, but I don't have it with beef though. I just have it with like mushrooms and carrots and
Mm,
stuff.
thanks for saving me.
Nee says gentrification has been going on for 25 years. This is going back to the earlier discussion. Um, Ghana playlist is saying Wi-Fi was best for me in Ghana, work from home and never had issues. Yeah, for some
Yeah.
people, depending on where you are and what company you're using, it's no issue. But I
Mhm.
can't say that's the same for me. Cash says, it's a good question. Have you learned any tree or know a few words?
Oh, child. Don't judge me. I haven't. You know what?
All right, so Medasi, right? Wait, is Medasi thank you? Shit. Medasi's thank you.
See?
Medasi's thank you. Aquaba is welcome.
Yeah. Uh-huh. That someone told me that. I just didn't remember. Yep.
What else do we got? That's all I got for now. I'm moving on. All right, so no narrative. Shout out to No Narrative. Welcome back. It's been a minute. She says, "Hi Joe and guest. Hey Joe and guest. Gullah Geechee are my folk. My family's from South Carolina. I'm late, but finally made it live. You did finally make it live. Welcome back to the live. Thanks for joining. Shout out to the old school folks that have been joining the lives forever. You know, I would say shout out to Flower Child for joining the lives, but she's been gone for a minute. But at least she's live
Listen,
right now.
it's different when you live here. It's so different. Like I get tired so early.
Hmm.
I
Mm.
do. And unlike yourself, I do know how to go to bed.
Fine. Fine. I do stay up late every day. Um, all right. So Patricia Matthews says, "Bless up, everyone. Shout out from Brooklyn, New York. BK. I don't know why. Every time Brooklyn, I feel like I have to do a hand gesture.
Hey.
Um, So Patricia says the ones who've moved already to the continent are better off than those in America. Drinking water in Manhattan has affected the projects and makes people sick. That's why I don't drink tap water. Yes, do not drink tap water because even though they say it's the cleanest water in the
Ooh.
country because they put it through all those filtration systems, the pipes aren't so clean, right? And that's for sure. Like, I don't know if you've ever had to clean a pipe out in, for your clean water, but in those old buildings, we had a filtering system that we used, and it does not. And we after the filtering system, we put another filter thing inside of it, and it was still just as toxic as it was before we put it to the filtering. So I don't drink tap water in the U.S. anymore. I don't drink tap water anywhere. To be honest with you,
Mm-mm. Yeah, I
I
was
just
gonna say,
don't.
why would you do that?
She says African continent will do better, self-sufficient, and will thrive. Yes, it will. Uh, America was never our home. Africa, our future is the African continent. Yes, all true stuff. Um, okay, Blanco Blue is saying new dollar accounts are frozen right now. I've heard in Ghana. I haven't heard about that, but maybe that's a possibility. Uh, so many questions about dating related stuff. We're gonna move on. Um, Voyages with Shaisha says, just joining in. I'll catch the replay as well. Yes, definitely catch the replay. Thanks for joining, though. Uh, yo, Disco Dan, I'm not answering. I'm not asking. I'm not putting your question up on the screen either. But Cash says again, y'all are wild on this live today. They are. Yes, they are. There's a lot of questions about your dating life. Aya.
Yeah.
So Aya, we
I'm
gonna
glad I'm not seeing all of this. This is so good. This is the one time where it's really good to be sheltered. Yes.
Kunta Kinte was apparently from Gambia, from the
He
Maninka tribe. I
exactly.
remember.
Oh my goodness. I went to Kunta Kinte Island and um my experience was way different than I thought that it would have been, but it was amazing.
There it is. Boom.
Yeah.
Lenora says she loves peanut butter soup or groundnut soup with goat.
Oh, oh yes. I love
Yeah.
goat.
I was never a goat fan, even when I ate meat. But goat for me was not.
You have to have like the right person to cook it.
If you say so. I heard that about goat, sheep, all of those things.
That's okay.
Nah, son. All those hoofed animals I gave up long before I went vegan. I just couldn't do it. They smell the same dead as they do alive, and then when
Oh
it smells,
my goodness. Are you saying this? Why are you doing this? Did you say
it's
they
true. I've been to slaughterhouses before, so I've been up close and personal. I know what that
I've
thing looks like.
actually seen like okay, we can carry on. Yeah.
Let's not get off. Let's not get off tangent. uh, no narrative says I miss so much. It seems very juicy live. I'll catch the replay later, Joe and I. Later, no narrative. Yes, definitely catch it later. No narrative is in New York. Shout out to
Oh,
you.
nice.
Um,
Juicy.
Naya says, Joe, please don't make comments about me. Let only Aya talk about me. Fine. 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 You guys
I
know
agree.
that you guys know that I am biased.
You went
So
way too far. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say where I could really go with it. I don't want to gross people out. I'm just saying, like, that is a true statement that is based on my actual experience. I have
I was
many other
okay.
comments, and this, but I'll leave it. I'll leave it. Bronco Blue says vegan is no way to live, stunts growth, and no muscle. Well,
Okay.
I stopped growing at 21, unfortunately. Um, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. I had a funny pun, but this is live, and my aunt and my nephew watches it. So anyway, Patricia Matthews says curry goat is the best so long as one prep their meat with lemon and salt water. There you go. I guess before seasoning. There you go. Oh, you know, Patricia's Jamaican. Sorry. Why did I do that? West Indian. Patricia must be West Indian. I don't know why I said Jamaican. Sorry, didn't just threw that out there. It's definitely West Indian because you're Brooklyn. You said bless up, and then you're talking about jerk chicken with seasoning. I already know you're West Indian. Sure, I
Yeah.
already know. Um, yo, Disco Dan, yo, get out of here, Disco Dan. Stop it, stop it, bro. Stop it. I'm screenshotting all of these for you, Aya, and I'm gonna send them to you. It'll be fun. It'll be fun for you to read them. Um, these people are hilarious to me. Patricia did say, "Okay, I am of Jamaican descent." Um, it's okay, brother. Okay, cool. So you are Jamaican of Jamaican descent. All right, cool. All right, guys. All right, we are now at 1 hour and 57 minutes. I did say we weren't going to go any longer than 2 hours. I want to thank you all for joining because there are 60 folks on live right now. It got up to 71. That is the second highest live that I've had, especially for this sustained amount of time. So shout out to Aya and bringing all the eyeballs to the channel. And people want to hear your story and also apparently want to date you. So I want to thank you guys all for joining. I'm gonna leave a little bit of time for you to answer one last or two last questions before we go. But we're gonna close it out in a few minutes. We got 2 minutes, a minute and 30 seconds left. So whatever questions you guys have, put them up. I'm checking Instagram because I haven't checked Instagram live. Shout out to Barbara. Barbara, what's up? I don't know if you're still on the Instagram live, but watch on YouTube live. Barbara was saying what was the topic for the live. The topic was it's on YouTube, but it's Aya's move from the US to Gambia and to Ghana. Barbara said, "Let's see what starts happening. Let's see what happens when they start selling 3D printed meat." So I met Barbara is someone who I met in New York randomly. We had a mutual friend on my 35th birthday where I was balling out of control at this big apartment. And randomly, she happened to move to Sierra Leone. And a friend of mine was like, "There's an American. You should meet her. Take her around, blah, 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 blah." And I see her and I'm like, "I know you. I met you before." And so, like, it's a small world, crazy. Anyway, so Barbara is someone I know who lives in Sierra Leone. She's an American living in Sierra Leone. But she also we talked about the fact that I was vegan and she was semi-vegan, sometimes vegan. So I don't know if she's made the full transition to vegan, but yeah. Anyway, okay. There was one last question. Oh, here's a good statement. I think this is good. She is a beautiful and intelligent African woman.
Oh. See, I felt that. I felt that. Thank you.
I mean, am I a beautiful and intelligent African man? No, what's up?
Ah!
Can I get some of that? No, I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing. All right. So, Disco Dan is asking, do you go to the clubs here? Have you gone to any clubs?
One, and it was
Do you
very
remember what
nice.
it's called?
I don't know. It was like outside. I don't know what it was called. I'm not sure.
Alley Bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Alley Bar is lit. Alley Bar is lit. A little bit much for me. You know what I'm saying? Especially as a sober individual these days. But it was people were having a great time and I had fun. We had fun. Good time. Miss Elaine says, I really have to attend these lives more often. I was free to make it today. Thank you, Authentic African and Aya. I appreciate it. I will say this. My name is Joe. I know it says Authentic African. My name is Joannis, really, but I do go by Joe. I do not call myself Authentic African, to be clear, because this is a point of contention for some people, apparently. Some of my former coworkers, even, I've heard. So I don't call myself Authentic African. It's about the Authentic African experience. That's really what the channel's about. But I actually
Right.
started an Instagram page because I had an e-commerce site called Authentic African, selling authentic African products to the diaspora. So just for those who are unaware and didn't know, I just want to make sure that that's clear. And it also will not always be about my story. There will be other stories being told. This is going to be a platform for the authentic African story to be told, whether you are born and raised in Africa, whether you're an expat or you're from the diaspora, all those stories will be told. I will not always host everything and I will not always be the main person on camera. But I will say that for right now, I am the main face of the channel, but it won't always be that way. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. Leaving that alone too. Just you so you can't see the comments, can you, Aya?
I can't, and I am so happy. I am so happy because my facial expressions will tell you everything. I am so happy.
Okay. Quick question from Jerry. Are there decent vegan restaurants in Ghana? So yes, there's a place called Mahogany. Shout out to Sally. What's up, Sally? What's up? Jerry says, are there yes, so there are so Mahogany is really good. I like the one in the ANC Mall. There's another one I don't like as much. The one in the ANC Mall upstairs. So there's the honeysuckle when you come into the ANC Mall to the right. If you went up the stairs to the left, upstairs, there's a place called Mahogany. Really good vegan food. So I definitely recommend it. I also order from a place called Devour Vegan. She is an Indian lady who has a home kitchen, and she makes meals every day, and she sends them out once a week. So you have to order on Saturday or Sunday, and then she delivers them on Wednesday. When you fish for compliments, you catch them. You know what I'm saying?
Look at that.
I was joking, though. I was joking, but I appreciate it. Thanks, Nee. I appreciate it. Thank you. Sometimes you need to hear it, though. You know what I'm saying? And Disco Dan, my man Disco Dan is going hard out here. All right, so we are at the end of the live, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for joining. And Aya, I really want to tell you I appreciate you for joining. This has been a fun live. Anything you want to tell the people? I know I would normally say, do you want to tell people how they can find you online? But that's not something.
Yeah. So I do have a YouTube channel. So, okay. but.
By the way, that wasn't gas. Because just in case you heard that, it was.
But don't I don't know. Should I give out my YouTube channel? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm kind of scared.
Okay. Aya and I will converse after the live. And after our discussion, We'll decide if it's prudent and makes sense for her to share her socials. And if she is willing to, we'll put it in the description. So you got to watch the replay to catch that information.
Yes. And thank you for having me. Honestly, this has been a great experience. And I
You're
hope you
welcome.
get some rest soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll try. I'll try. Stick on though on this after for just a little bit though, because I want to catch up with you really quickly. All right, guys. So I want to thank you all for watching. And of course, as you always know, like, comment, subscribe. I forgot to tell people to like, and I forgot to tell people to comment. So like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. Anybody who's planning to move to Ghana, who's interested in hearing about somebody's experience moving from the States to the Gambia and to Ghana, definitely share this with them. And with that, guys, I'll see you all on the next video.